Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. This episode is brought to you by The Wellness Paradigm, a holistic health coaching company shifting the way that women understand and heal their bodies. Through bioenergetic testing, functional lab testing, and nutrition, we uncover what traditional approaches often overlook, so you can stop guessing, start healing, and finally feel like yourself again. No more one-size-fits-all protocols, just real answers, deep-rooted healing, and the clarity and confidence you deserve to feel incredible. It's time to shift the paradigm of women's health. Now on to our show. And good morning, Tiffany.
Good morning.
Guys, Tiffany is freaking awesome. I am so excited. We could literally have had a podcast just chatting before we even hit record, but Dr. Tiffany is incredible. She's a leadership development mentor. She's a practicing chiropractor who literally has one of the top practices in the world. She owns 5 businesses. She's a mom of 2, and she just focuses on building family legacy and really helping women step into their next level. And it's I feel like that's so broad it doesn't even begin to encompass all the incredible things she does. So I'm going to turn the mic over to you. Tiffany, give us a little bit more of an idea of what you do and how you started in this practice.
The $1 million question. What do
Mhm.
you do and how did you start? Well, I actually started in chiropractic. I was a basketball player in high school and I found my chiropractor through knee pain and ankle pain. And it was like the end of my high school career. I'm like, hey, Bonnie, hey, Dr. Bonnie, what do you think I should do? I want to do something with families and something with sports or performance, right? And she's like, I mean, are you not going to be a chiropractor? I'm like, what? She's like, well, I just kind of figured it. I just figured that's what you would do because like you get to work with kids and you get to work with families and you get to have your own practice and you get to kind of have the freedom of what you want. And so from there, I was like, oh, that is totally what I'm going to do. And even at that moment, although it's been hard to get out of the box of any degree, and I would say this, I speak on this a lot of when you get a degree in something, there is something that happens to our mind that says, oh, she's a chiropractor, or she's an attorney, or
Mhm.
she's a business, finance, whatever. And I don't believe that that is helpful for us. I believe that where we start is rarely where we're going to end. And so I started with a calling of chiropractic, and I knew I wasn't only a chiropractor. And I knew how I practiced chiropractic was different than like every other person that I know, which is the whole point.
Mhm.
The whole point of my work is like be you so that you're not like anyone else that you know ever. And I'd really just like let God show me the path of what was meant to unfold in the seasons of my life. And so I've always seen transformation on my table. Like I always saw it happening in the body, and I thought everybody saw it that way, and that's not true. And I really think that's what started like that was the opening of the magic of like, man, this isn't just a human with a spine, but this is a human with a spine and thoughts and emotions and spirit and energy. And my job is to bring her to life, bring him to life, bring this kiddo to life. And so that's really been the theme of my whole life is how can we bring you to life in like the highest level and the highest consciousness and the highest iteration of who you are designed to be, and let's just go for it and go for it all. And so I feel like my whole life has pretty much been the untangling of, okay, they say I'm this and I'm this and this, and now they say I'm this and this, and now I'm this and this and this and this. And I really think the most important thing is that we are not meant to define like what our life is to be like and what our purpose is to be like, and we're really supposed to be in the joy and purpose and mission of what makes us come alive, and then just watch how life can unfold. So,
Mm.
and I mean, I'm an achiever for sure. Girl doesn't quit. There's nothing that I can't win, like I got that. I have that figured out. Like I think what this next piece is like, okay, can we, like, how do we have that now? And there's so many people listening that are like me, that we are the achievers and we are the winners and we are the go-getters. And I believe in myself implicitly more than I believe in anyone on the planet, because I will do it and I will create it and I am meant for it and I'm called for it. So I know that. And also, can we just come down a little bit and soften up a little bit and allow, like, truly allow life to unfold in a way that we can meet it instead of always chasing the next thing and not really being rooted in who you are to get there. So if that's not a philosophical answer, I'm not sure what is.
Well, my God, I mean, that's so true, right? It's so many people. You can be achieving, a high achieving woman, but how many people do you see and have you seen just even in your practice with body pains, with aches, with things because they don't even allow space in their body to process and they think they should be something else. And they don't take the time to appreciate where they're at the moment. So there's always this gap they're focusing on, stressing the body out, never giving their body credit, and it shows up in the body, right? It shows up
Mm,
in pain and brain fog, and then in business, it's going to show up as not actually achieving what you want to do. So you feel like
amen.
you're never gonna win, you know? And
Totally.
it's
It's
so
always a
exhausting.
it's always a parallel line. Like we don't even realize that whatever's happening in our personal life is also going to or is happening in your business life. And if you don't know that the body is the map and the body is the actual thing that we need to train for the arena. We don't train for like eggshells and safety and regulation, actually. And I mean, I go against the grain in all this. Like, this nervous system world drives me absolutely bananas. It is making people so soft, because anytime they're rattled, they think there's something wrong with them. I'm like, no, when you're rattled, you're actually getting in the arena. Like, you're learning how to do this. So I don't, yes, at a global level, I mean, I practice polyvagal, so like porge is like all that is the work that I know. And also we have to train our body and how to be able to handle it. We can't like be focused on, as soon as I'm uncomfortable, I need to go somewhere and do breath work because breath work's the only thing that's going to make me safe and regulated. Oh my God, no. No, your job is to build your body as you're in the arena, and you build your heart as you're in there, and you build your relationships as you're in there, not before, so that you're never actually doing anything other than trying to heal. That doesn't work.
Oh, I could go on this whole topic about trying to heal because what is healed? And, obviously in the health world, it's just like this constant, I'm not healed. What the hell does that mean?
What? Like,
We're
this is an
constantly
addiction.
chasing,
Yeah.
this, but that's so true what you said. And I know one thing that you do is also, well, this is something I tell clients all the time. If you're never going to be out of stress, it's building capacity, right? And if you do not have a higher capacity, you're, especially in business, you're going to want to burn the whole thing freaking down
Mm-hmm.
because it's not going to be sunshines and rainbows all of the time. And when shit hits the fan, that's when you really start, I feel like, growing in that, in that
Yeah.
work. And so, how for you, you know, if somebody is wanting to work on, let's say their business or leadership in their business, and, we hear things like, well, get into the body, do your breath, stress less and just, think that you're amazing and you'll be there. How do you take a little bit more structure and actually work with these women to build up their capacity and leadership?
Mm. Well, one of my body codes methodologies, body codes is just really like how I see the body. I always, from the beginning, I always said there's an emotional component to every physical pain.
Yes.
So it's the thing that I anchor on for everything. Like, as soon as there's a chronic hip pain, let's say, I mean, there's a lot of other pieces that is like, well, we're not moving forward. And yes, you can go chat GPT. What is the metaphysical reason for left hip pain? And yes, there will probably be a lot of pieces that resonate. And yet, I mean, the biggest corruption, in my opinion, of what's happening in overconsumption is lack of action. So until we take a step and until you embrace the boring middle, and the middle is when it's really messy and it's really uncomfortable, and that's when we all quit. If we really look at like the sequence of our body and we identify posture, we identify our voice, we identify breath and energy, then we can start to understand ourselves, because we can't actually understand anyone else unless we do this. And that's what I recognize, like my work on the table is I had to be so crystal clear in my energy and in my beliefs and in my essence to do this work. And I don't think people put enough standards on themselves when they work with people, that they're just like delivering a service, right? Like delivering a product. I'm like, no, that's not actually of integrity. In the industry standards of what I think the industry standards are, is your job is to know your body and not to be like, I'm regulated. No, you need to actually know, is this mine or is this yours, right? And so I do think there's, without, I hardly ever have a bullet point list of how people do it, because I actually don't think we learn that way. We learn by jumping into the deep water and figuring out how the hell to swim. And once you figure out how to swim, then you're like, oh, okay. So now I'm going to take these pieces into this next experience or this next dream that I have. And now I'm going to be the one to actually do it. But for the most part, we've trained our body from our fear, right? We've trained our body from our disease. We've trained our body from our upbringing. We've trained our body from fear of anxiety. And now we medicate the anxiety. And now we have no idea what our body is trying to tell us. And so there's a distortion field that is present in people's body that becomes their truth. And so I feel like I'm a walking contradiction. I'm a walking trigger all the time, because I can put one post out that says, trust your body, it's the roadmap. And then the second post could be like, your body's lying to you. And they're both true, right? They're truly both true. If you are not aware, your body is lying to you. It tells you that it's anxious. It tells you you're not safe. It tells you that there is pain that you need to figure out how to fix, when actually, if you would train it on how to build capacity, how to do the actual thing instead of dream the actual thing, maybe all of that would go away. Maybe you don't need the medication to shove down the shit that's actually needing to, quote, heal. And I say that in a like good way, instead of chasing the healing before we actually do the thing.
That's a hard one. That I find that so hard for people, because what we think we need to do is fix the quotation problem the way that we know how, the way that we think,
Yeah.
the stories that we tell ourselves that this pain means, right? Or, this block. And when you have a client that comes in,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure open but still closed-minded, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm open, I want to do this thing. But then when you get into it, they have these stories that they can't get through, right? I'm sure that's
Mm-hmm.
blocking a lot of people, especially in the business world, going to that next level, right? How are you moving things out of the body or through the body? Or how are you bringing awareness to, I don't want to say the problem, but to that the issue is not the issue that they think it is. It's something
Mm-hmm.
deeper that they're avoiding.
I mean, I really think the issue is always lack of action. I don't know if I've met many women who are over actionable towards their dreams. Like they're over actionable in their life and they've managed the house and they do all the things. But one of our greatest fears is not being part of a group and not belonging to something and someone. And therefore, what that means is one of our greatest triggers is the fear of one relationship and how they're going to respond. And so can we start to use our voice more? So let's just say somebody's like, okay, I'm an executive at this company and I want to start, like, I keep getting these taps on the glass. I keep getting these soul pings. I go to bed and there's disappointment on, like, holy crap, you have spent 20 years and not doing anything about it. Yeah, sure, now you have the money and now you have the kids that are grown and now you actually have all the opportunity and freedom to do, but you're not happy. It's usually because we fear our relationships are going to change, and our core relationships, right? Our marriage, our parents, our kids, maybe not understanding, not believing in the thing that we're doing. And we fear that we won't be able to handle it and hold it. And so once again, this is capacity. This is like using your voice, like body codes, like one of the main pillars of my whole work is I have people speak out loud all the time. Sounds so like elementary, but we don't even talk out loud. We don't talk to ourselves. So like when you go for a walk, put WhatsApp on for yourself or Voxer or Telegram. And like, I call these conversations with God because like truly it is like, how can you just start to have more conversations with God and getting your voice out of your body and out of your head and like start to allow flow to be able to happen? When we do that, our breath starts to flow different. Our energy starts to flow different. We can be like, oh, that's a cool idea, because most of the time we're in over idea overload and no action, or no idea, blocked, no action. I mean, bottom line, I really believe you could take the most basic action or the most irrational action, and they're all going to kind of have the same, transformation is going to happen kind of at the same speed. It's not a basic steady, oh my God, if like slow is steady, shoot me. I'm not like that. I don't believe we have to go slow and steady. Like we don't have to do that. But if you're not moving, start with making your bed every day. Start with cleaning your bathroom before you go to bed if that's the thing that makes you feel like okay, I'm doing this. Start with writing a Facebook post one time a week. A lot of what I see in the body is tied to not wanting to be visible in every part of their life, right? With your spouse, with intimacy, with your voice, with you, what you stand for. And then it goes into, well, I don't know if I can say all this in front of the world, social media wise, or on a stage or presentation, but actually it just doesn't. That's not where it's starting. It's starting with you. And so what if we could look at our body in a way that it's telling us where we're hiding instead of where there's pain or where there's a diagnosis, or, okay, so if this area is always hurting, or if this area is always what I feel holding me back, or if I'm scared of this, or this is a generational, thing, migraines, or, I mean, 3 to 7% is actually passed on, which means 93% of most everything we have is it's our issue. Well, we can see that as like absolute power to bring that in. And I really feel like the parts of your body that are stagnant are the parts of your body that you're not willing to be seen in.
That's an interesting one because I feel like there's so much resistance to that, right? It's like that can't be the answer. It has to be something else, right? And I know there's been so many people on my podcast, even just ways that I've done it with clients, where it's just like even just looking in a mirror, like people don't want to do. Like even just
No.
seeing yourself for all the beauty that you are, not all the things you need to fix. It's like that is what actually moves the needle slightly forward. But people will do the other things. They'll do the strategy. They'll do the nutrition. They'll do the, um, whatever. But I find that that tends to have the most resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And as a mentor or as a leader, then it's not about saying like, hey, you don't want to be seen in this area. Like that is not even an awareness thing for them. But so our job, my responsibility is to show somebody in different ways where they're not, right? Like where is this limiting your relationship? Where is this affecting your ability to talk about yourself in business? Where is this not, I was listening to a podcast a few months ago, and I brought this to my Masterpiece Mastermind last month, that it was Bridget. She talked about the greatest vulnerability is where you're winning, instead of all this song and dance that people are like, I'm being vulnerable, I'm being open, I'm showing myself. Yeah. And also, is that necessary? Or is it more vulnerable to actually show people that you're winning? Is it more vulnerable to show people what's working? Yeah, it's way more vulnerable to do that, because the amount of pushback you will get, The amount of people that won't like you, the amount of people that think that you're being cocky, the amount of people that think you're bragging, that all of that is what hits our core wound of belonging, of connection, of love, right? And so can we start to see that our life is meant to be shared in a deep success kind of way and not only a pain and victim kind of way? And I
Mm.
think the whole world would change if we were focused on who you are at the core and how you're living it. And yes, truth is truth. We're not supposed to chase truth. Like what? We're not supposed to chase. That just isn't how it works. Truth is lived. Truth is wisdom. Truth is within you. You don't have to think about what to say in a social post, really, if it's truth, if you contemplate. And if not, you don't know what you're supposed to say because we've become robots. We've become distracted on our phones. We've become distracted by booze. We are everything around us. A lot of the goal is to disconnect us, right? And so if we can see that that's happening and not get stuck in that and say like, "Ooh, yeah, okay, I see this," and also, "Oh, here's my opportunity to lean into what I'm building and who I am," and so health issues, all the things that go along with the body, I believe is just the misalignment of truth. And it's my job then to say, hey, this is where you're not showing up fully as you. Not like, okay, I'm going to keep on smashing this left hip down, but like, why are you afraid of showing yourself? You know, that's my question. I can continue to adjust the same pattern in you, and you can continue to get adjusted however much you want. You know, this is just a small part of my business or my like life now, um but then the next work is, but why is this pattern the same? And if
Mm.
one pattern is in one place, then that same pattern is in many different places of your life. So my job is to unleash it.
I love this so much because it is so, so true to look at the body as a whole, right? Um, and not compartmentalize or segment because that's not how the body works. But it makes me laugh because sometimes people will come in and be like, well, just fix my hip. Or for me, it's like, well, get rid of my parasite. And I'm like, so tell me about your mom. It's just like, no,
Right.
I want my parasite. I want my bloating. I'm like, yes, I understand. Right? It's like, you meet people where they're at, but it is funny because it's like we could see those patterns and when you can shift them. And I do want to say I love what you shared about, listening to the podcast, but also for anybody listening is sharing not just when you are at your end point, I feel like is so
Mhm.
important too, right? It's like you can share the wins, not just when you're at your goal, right? And whatever that goal
Totally.
is for you, it's like, can you celebrate the small thing and can you get comfortable sharing it when it doesn't feel like the big win that you want to share, right? Or, that you think makes you worthy of sharing it, right?
Amen.
So,
And
yes.
it is like, what are the things that actually make us feel worthy? Like in the business world, um, they're rooted in ego, right? Like worthiness in the business world is volume of anything, volume of
Yep.
money, volume of business, volume of locations, volume of employees and
Yep.
leads and audience and email list. And like, that isn't it. Like, that is not it. Now, can we use some of those points to edify that we've been doing the work? Sure. But
Mhm.
it's not about that, and it's definitely not about the strategy associated with that. It's about the work that the person did to build it there. And like, can we talk about that? Can we talk
Mhm.
about the hard shit? Can we talk about holding the hard shit? Can we talk about how to do business and friendships together? Can we talk about how to hold money or how to not have money and still continue to get your message out to the world? Can we talk about the transformations and the losses? Like, we get to like bring it all forward and show the world that winning can actually happen. Because who out there is actually doing it well? You know,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
anyone? Or like, yes, there are, but not many.
Well, and what as well? We think what we see is this person crushing it. This is where social media, we could probably have a whole conversation, but we look at that as what is wrong with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I not doing it and they're crushing it? Meanwhile, their marriage is falling apart, right? They don't have a good relationship with the kids. They're unhealthy, their hormones are an absolute wreck, right? It's like we don't know those things because we just see the thing that we want to see. Maybe it's in business, it's a leadership or it's a number.
Yep,
Look at all these leaders,
totally.
all these people in my world, right? But also how much are you keeping? That's a whole other topic. But
Yeah.
then we start comparing and looking at that, and that makes us feel less than, right? And then that shows up in the body and brings up old wounds that we haven't healed yet. It's like this cascade.
Well, and
Um,
I think like so much of this is how is it that you can be congruent and back yourself like a ninja first?
mhm.
Like your job, our jobs is to be in truth to who you are. It's to be congruent with your inner and outer. And whatever that looks like, if it's social media, if I see somebody in social media and then I see them in real life and they're different, I'm like, you are a fraud. Totally. Like
Mhm.
I don't believe there's much room in terms of what I look at. I do not believe we should be focusing on marketing if we haven't focused on our inner work on how you interact with people so that it's like the same. What good is that? Like, so we're selling a product and you're being in that way, but you are incongruent with who you are. And that's why family stuff struggles. That's why those people are struggling with health issues. So if we just continue to continue to pull back the curtain and pull back the layers of what's incongruent in your life, where you're not getting results that you really desire, it does all go back to your body, and it goes back to where that is incongruent with the direction that you're going.
Yeah, love it, love it. Now, if you could just give one or two pieces of advice for somebody that's kind of in the thick of it, maybe not
Mm-hmm.
even in the thick of it, because thick of it doesn't have to be negative, right? But like, they're wanting to grow their business, they're wanting to feel amazing, they're wanting to really take their body, their health, their business to the next level. What are one or two things that you would tell them as far as some tip advice?
Mm. Action.
Yep.
Like we just won't make mistakes by taking action. And I think we're really afraid of making mistakes by taking action. So I believe we learn the most. Well, people learn by contrast or validation. And so the people who learn by contrast need to actually do it. I think of in human design, like the threes, the three lines, the six lines. It is truly trial by fire. And so do the things and try the things and then create your own wisdom from that. Um, I mean, having your own back is like the basics of the basics of the basics of how can you believe in yourself more than you believe in anything? How are you your own best friend? How are you the greatest like developing work of art over and over and over and over and in this way that you're always growing and you're always evolving and you're able to really like back yourself. We're not backing ourselves. We don't trust ourselves. We don't believe in ourselves. We need somebody else to tell us something so that we're like, oh yeah, that's right. And that is what we as women do. We are beautiful reflectors of people. And when you get yourself into a room of beautiful reflectors of people and also people that will never forget who you are, that is when we grow. So I also believe the one or two or three things is you got to find your room of people, the people that won't let you disappear, that won't let you hide, that won't let you forget who you said you want to be and who you said you are. And like that's the greatest evolution. Reading a book is not the same. Asking ChatGPT, who am I and what's my favorite braggadocious bio is not really it if it's not embodied, like, and then figure out how to use your voice more just as a channel, just like not necessarily to other people, but if you just start to practice, I mean, I call it sacred silence. You have 10 minutes of sacred silence, which is truly nothing. No music, no 10 minutes a day. And if you were to do that and spend some time on a walkie-talkie with yourself and God, I just think those you're going to start to identify who you are just in those few things. So,
Love that. Not me over here. That's going to be like sending some
hmm.
voice notes to myself now.
Yeah,
I love that idea. It's so small. I do that sometimes, maybe to ChatGPT, but
yeah.
but I
And
feel like not
whatever it
having the
is,
input.
but so that's what I mean. We are really addicted. So, the world now just needs another question always.
Mhm.
Like chat. You ask a question to Claude and it responds and asks a question back to you. And we're used to this like
Mhm.
something else helping us think. Like, oh my gosh, we have totally forgotten how we think and we have lost the imagination because chat's giving you freaking rendition of what everyone else has said and done. Like it might trigger something and I love AI and for me in that way, but I spend a lot of time with myself and a lot of time thinking about how I think and thinking about how I feel and thinking about like what standards like actually are for me. And I think that's really powerful, a powerful way of living
Mhm.
that when you have your own back, I don't feel like you can ever feel alone.
Mm. Yeah, and you're not giving your power away. I mean, so many people do that to either a mentor or even just chat, and then chat's kind of
Yeah.
a yes man where it's like telling you what you want to hear. And then you think that's the answer when it's really not. And then
Yes.
yes, I've seen this a lot, especially in my industry.
Oh
Um,
gosh,
you
I
know,
bet.
and
Just
so it's like coming
recycling.
back to my body, and I asked somebody intuitively like what they wanted to do, and they're like, "Well, this is what chat said." No, 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 no. That's like
Isn't
what is
that isn't that crazy? Like it's depleting us of our spirit and our essence, and we don't even know how to ask our own self questions to get that answer.
that?
That
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 comes
is
back
what
to
they're talking
trust,
about. They're talking
right?
about the world is going to be full of robots.
Yep.
That's what we're creating ourselves to be a robot.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. And it comes down to
Mm,
lack of self-trust too. My decision, this is not going to be the right decision, so let me outsource it to someone that maybe has that answer. And then, well, we chatted about this too, and then that answer isn't necessarily what we wanted to hear. And we're like, well, shit, what's wrong with me? Right? And then maybe you
exactly.
go that direction and it feels misaligned. And then you're like, well,
Exactly.
why is this not working? And I don't feel good. Well, that wasn't the answer. We started overriding our intuition. All right.
And we do it in the chat wave with another addiction to quick
Yep.
fix.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
all of these pieces have just been morphed into our reality. So when we can start to unravel them, right, detach the chains, now we see like, wow, I'm full of distracted consumption. Wow,
Hmm.
distracted consumption, then you don't ever learn about yourself. As soon as
Hmm.
if you get uncomfortable, as soon as you get uncomfortable, you pull out your phone, you're not listening to your body anymore.
Yep.
So it's like we're living in this, we're veiled, and rarely do people have the courage just to lift. Can you just lift it up? And if you're in the room with the right people see your beauty, and we see your power, and we see your strength, and we see your love. And maybe you haven't shown other people, or maybe it's just hasn't been the right other people that have been able to see who you are and what you're meant to bring to the world. I believe we're all given a calling or many callings. And so if our job in our life is to be in alignment and follow the God winks every single time they land, I believe that will answer the call.
Love it. Love it. Tiffany, where can people find
Yes.
you? Where can people find you if they want to connect more with you?
Website is drtiffanyjohnson.com. And I'm on Instagram, Dr. Tiff Johnson, and Facebook, Tiffany Johnson. So you pretty much see me just like this there.
I'm gonna put those down below, guys, so you guys can check her out, shoot her a message. Hopefully that you guys found value in this. Definitely send it to somebody if you feel like, this is gonna hit home for them too. And I really appreciate you being here. Listeners, of course, I appreciate you being here too. And we'll catch you guys on the next show. Thank you for being here, Tiffany.
Thank you.